Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo, mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. In December last year, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, drove himself to Gatundu for a meeting with the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta roasted some goat meat for the president, and because William Ruto does not drink, he was not offered whiskey. Instead, some hot tea was prepared for him.
Thank you, myself. Thank you. Asante. Thank you for nyama. Karibu sana bwana.
The objective of that meeting at that time were only two. The first objective, which was the main objective, was that Ruto and Uhuru wanted to figure out how to tame Rigathi Gachagua in the mountain. Because you remember, Rigathi Gachagua had just been impeached and he was gaining popularity in the mountain. Ruto was worried. Uhuru Kenyatta was also worried. And that's how William Ruto ended up appointing the allies of Uhuru Kenyatta into the cabinet. That is Kabogo, Lee Kinyanjui, and Mutahi Kagwe. Uhuru Kenyatta did not pursue the deal further because of the backlash. The mountain really hit on Uhuru Kenyatta for meeting with William Ruto at that time. And the second objective at that time was that William Ruto wanted to checkmate Raila Odinga. Because after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, Raila Odinga was putting a lot of roadblocks towards the deal. He was demanding more. So by bringing in Uhuru for that meeting, or by visiting Uhuru Kenyatta at that time, he was trying to reduce the value of Raila Odinga. And Raila Odinga then had to accept whatever he was being offered. Ladies and gentlemen, and because I've always explained to you guys that in politics you have only two constants: interest and betrayal. Yesterday, we saw Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Arap Ruto meeting in Statehouse. Of course, some can argue that the meeting was official, but the images and the photos, the videos we got from that meeting tells a different story. You can clearly see Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto walking majestically in the lawn of Statehouse. Ladies and gentlemen, what was the objective of that meeting? The details have now leaked. And in this video, I want to reveal to you guys why Uhuru and Ruto met at Statehouse yesterday. Before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think Uhuru Kenyatta went to State House for a meeting with the president? Why?
Unajua kuna haja watu wakuje wa muinside, nyinyi mubaki nyinyi wawili mkipigana na wanarudi kwao Nairobi. Wengine kama sisi tunarudi kwetu kwa mlima, si ndio? Lakini tuache hata tumewakoroga hapa. Mimi nataka mkae pamoja. Muliona baba na William Ruto walipatana wakasalimiana. Sasa kama nilikuwa nimepigana na Kadhambi, si mimi ningebaki nikiwa mjinga sana, si ndio? Leo nimeona president wetu, former president, akiwa pale State House. Na sio ndio maneno tunataka maendeleo. Kwa sababu Kenya ni nini? Wale wazazi tulikuwa na shida ya university education. Jana kama...
Ladies and gentlemen, number one for me is that Ruto is trying to checkmate Raila Odinga. And the best way to checkmate Raila Odinga is to use none other than Uhuru Kenyatta. As we speak, Raila Odinga is sending different signals about 2027. For those who've been following Raila Odinga's politics of late, Raila Odinga met with real leaders the other day. Raila Odinga met with the Kisi leaders in Nairobi. He also met with Ma leaders. Raila Odinga is activating the ODM grassroots support across the country. The other day, he held delegates meeting with the party leaders from Kakamega County. William Ruto is asking himself several questions. Is Raila Odinga with me? And Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General, is also communicating some things which are worrying the president. Is Raila Odinga really going to support William Ruto? Those are the questions which are worrying William Ruto. In fact, today, Millie Odhiambo, who is a close ally of Raila Odinga, said something. I want you guys to listen to Millie Odhiambo.
Raila Odinga has had to make difficult choices for the sake of this country. We went through difficult times, and I watched Honorable Raila Odinga almost being killed. So for him to make a choice to move the country forward, nobody should blame him for that. And because of that, we have agreed that for purposes of stabilizing the country, to stand with the broad-based arrangement up to 20, and it is not automatic that it is a must that it is Ruto that we will support. Even Raila Odinga, we can also ask Honorable Ruto to support Baba Amasio. Yeah, it is an issue of negotiation. And Kisera koso Kisera.
Tumeshatoa mwelekeo Jumapili tarehe 3 hii wiki. Tuko Saboti. Saboti ni eneo bunge langu, mahali panaitwa Lukome. Lukome is going to remain in history as the genesis of the youth renaissance. Hapo ndio inaanzia.
Tunaita Lukome declaration.
Lukome declaration, Lukome renaissance. Hapo ndio declaration ya vijana inaanza. Kwamba vijana mmepewa lineup, mmepewa viongozi wamejitokeza, kujeni pamoja into one movement, mass movement ya vijana waamue we are changing the country democratically, not from the streets.
Whatever I've said on this show, and I will repeat it. If you are unpopular, it doesn't matter how many leaders you bring around you. We will lose the election with Ruto even if we supported him as ODM. I am very clear in my mind. Because the people are clear in their minds on what a government is supposed to do. And for as long as you're not addressing those things, it doesn't matter. We lost an election with 26 parties. I remember I've said it here on this show, Manzo. Even the logistics of just sitting the principals here was a problem. We had, in one county, you have 3 principals. One county like Meru, you remember we had Kraitu Murungi, we had Zoe Munya, the whole of them are principals. But we still came up short. That tells you that if you don't deliver on your promises, if institutions such as the Catholic Church are calling you out for a culture of lies, you have unkept promises, you are kidnapping young people, I am telling you it doesn't matter who supports you. Okay. You will still lose the election.
Number 2, the meeting between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta is all about taming Rigathi Gachagua in the mountain. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto underrated. Rigathi Gachagua. Uhuru Kenyatta also underrated Rigathi Gachagua. As we speak, Rigathi Gachagua has kicked out the 2 out of the mountain. That's the reality. But Uhuru Kenyatta still has some element of support in the mountain. William Ruto is also the president of the Republic of Kenya. And because of that, he has a bit of support in the mountain, though negligible.
Niseme ya kwamba I want to talk to my elder brother and friend, President Uhuru Kenyatta. I have sent you a message through your emissary. Please, if you want to talk to us because you don't want to pay taxes, if you want to talk to us so that you don't return the money that you put abroad, you don't have to cause violence through Raila Odinga. You can call us for an honest conversation, and then we can discuss whether you pay tax, whether you don't, how, nini, tunaweza kubaliana. But it's also good for me to tell you, as you finance violence, violence is unpredictable. Many times, it comes to consume the financiers. Those young people you are sending to loot property and paying them, when they are through with looting property for the small people and there is nothing remaining, you know what they will do. I'd like you to take time, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, if you have time. You read the history on the French Revolution, of 1789, if you have time.
The question is, if Uhuru Kenyatta could deliver over 1 million votes to Raila Odinga, do you think he can fail that? He can fail to deliver that number to William Samoei Arap Ruto, a man the mountain voted for to the last man in the last election? He can actually deliver those numbers. So the strategy is have Uhuru Kenyatta team up with Ruto and then try to figure out how to tame Rigathi Gachagua in the mountain. That's number 2. Number 3 is 2027 politics. Uhuru Kenyatta is rumored to be fronting Fred Matiang'i. The entry of Fred Matiang'i is going to complicate the equation for William Samoei Arap Ruto. But Rigathi Gachagua is not really supportive of that candidate, which means Rigathi Gachagua might throw his weight behind none other than Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. If Rigathi Gachagua were to support Kalonzo, Uhuru to support Matiang'i, then what it's going to mean is that Ruto is going to easily win his re-election. So how is Uhuru Kenyatta coming in this? Probably William Ruto is trying to persuade him to appeal to Fred Matiang'i to join the camp. I'm getting convinced that is something which was discussed at this particular meeting. Number 4 is Uhuru Kenyatta's business interest. The truth of the matter is that politics is about interest. The other day, you read the story about the expressway and how it's being linked to Uhuru Kenyatta's family. It's big. It's big. The only person who can help cool that down is President William Ruto. So maybe Uhuru Kenyatta went to explain himself to Ruto, or he went to ask William Ruto to intervene on that matter. And also, number 5, which is probably my second last point, I think it's also about Uhuru Kenyatta's international engagement. William Ruto has been committing some grave diplomatic mistakes. For example, when he took over, the first person he fired from the African Union was Raila Odinga. And that's why it became very difficult for him to campaign for Raila Odinga at the AU. When he took over, Uhuru was performing some functions. He has frustrated Uhuru Kenyatta in those roles to an extent that at some point Uhuru Kenyatta had to use his own resources, had to use airlines from Uganda because the president was not facilitating him. I think it's about sorting some of those issues. And maybe they also wanted to gauge the mood in Mount Kenya. What if I met Uhuru? How will the mountain react? How will they react? What about me meeting Uhuru? Then after some time I invite Raila Odinga. Will they attack Raila for meeting me and leave out Uhuru Kenyatta? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you think. But for me, I think those are the objectives of the meeting. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.